Voila, it's a fuel tank. This is what I was hoping this would be. Thank God it's all together. Got brand new hinges or clamps, what do they call these? Tank straps. So what we're gonna do is, you're probably supposed to read the instructions first, but since I've never done that before, we're not gonna start now. We're gonna assume we know what we're doing. So we know the old sock is gonna go right here. I can already tell you that. And then, oh wow, we got these in English, French, some other language I've never seen before. You go all the way up. Oh no, you do not. No, you do not. You did that backwards. Get off my sock. So we got to do this actually. It's my thing. There we go. All right, let's try this again. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Now we need to pick the car up. So I got these 90-degree fittings from Evil Energy. Never heard of them before. I think it's like an Amazon brand, like a knockoff or something, but what do I know? The important thing is that they don't leak and they're tiny, because that's what I need, is something that's gonna fit in there in a tight spot. So we will give them a shot and see. I was able to put a 90 on the bottom one, but not on the top, because it hits a little ridge on the transmission, and I'm afraid to cut on it because it's thin wall. I mean, you probably could, but you could also just buy a 90 and it fit, you know? So it's like, eh. What I should have done was put these on before I put the transmission up here. That probably would have made sense, huh? Instead of trying to now make this whole deal work, tighten these after the fact. Now we get to learn from mistakes. Let's get you over here out of my face. This one really could go up higher if need be. Really need to invest in the whole shorty wrenches. Okay. Alright. So we got the cooler lines on. Let's see if this thing that I bought is going to actually work. Pretty sure it's supposed to go over like that. I don't like this though. I don't like that. It's a little, yeah. Just a little, you know? This guy's supposed to go like that. This guy, I guess it goes up a little bit. Do a little angle. Yeah. What's happening is if this is almost at an angle, I mean, it would have to sit kind of like that, which it could. Yeah, sure. I believe it. Okay. All right, so now I need a bung hole right here. So this is your intake air temperature, and it needs to connect to an intake air temperature sensor. And the intake air temperature sensor needs to be as close to the throttle body on the intake pipe as possible. And in order for it to screw into the pipe, you need a bung hole. It's like a threaded hole that you weld in, so you can screw it in. This way, one of these ways. Yeah, goes like that. Okay. Ah, there we go. Okay. Oh. Holy cow, okay. Yay! Bye! So, what we're going to do is, that's bolted in, this we're going to bolt in, and then we're going to line up the holes after this side is tight. Okay. Alright, so now, hold on. Now we need the actual cable. All right, so this goes underneath the car. This goes inside the car. Yeah. Okay. Oh my God. It's so tiny. Oh dear shit. It's very important that this goes on, because if I lose it, I'm never going to find it again. There we go. Okay. Alright, now you're staying. Alright, so now... so now I need some kind of clip. I need a clip. God, I'm going to stab myself and need brain surgery. I already need brain surgery. Oh my God. Whew. Come on, you know you want to. There you go. Ah, yeah, that's good. Okay. We made do. We made it happen. So the shifter's done for now. I still have other parts I need to put on, but I can't put those on until we start wiring up the inside of the car, and until we put the console on, because there's a plate that has the prendle on it so that you can see, what gear you're going into. That actually goes down on the console, so some of that stuff we'll put on after the fact. Let's see if this is going to fit the fuel line. Okay, that'll fit that. I think it's too wide. Probably have to cut this down a little bit. So I can't really do anything with that right now. Can't run the brake hoses because I don't have the brake lines. Can't run this because I don't have the other fuel line. Because basically I ordered two different types of fuel line. I want to see what's going to fit better. Maybe I can get this to, let me try one more thing. I was thinking about this for the bigger line, but I might be able to actually get this on the smaller one. So I could slide it over. Okay. Yeah. All right. That'll work. That'll work. Oh, that's not going to work. I guess now that I have all this stuff run into the car, now I need to actually figure out where I'm going to put the computer in the car. I had an idea, but see if it'll still fit there. I need to grab the dash pieces and make sure. Where can I put you? Oh my God, there's so many damn wires in here. Holy crap. All right, so we can go there. What dash pieces do I have? What I'm thinking is I can sneak this up in here out of the way and figure out a way of bolting that. I could probably honestly do it this way. So that could sit up in there, and then this sits like this, and so it's gonna cover this area, so we could have wires coming down through here. I could just Velcro it. Yeah. I don't know why I even put stuff away. Like, I just keep pulling out the same boxes of stuff over and over again. We'll use these little guys. It's this, and then I need to clean the other side. I have to have a clean spot for the Velcro, because it's basically like tape. Oh, let go. The wires to stick out a little bit. I need to do this where I can sit inside here to get the correct amount of leverage. Really uncomfortable. Oh, don't do it. Don't start sticking yet. You ain't in there yet. Don't do it. Don't do it. Why are you doing it? What is in the way? Get out of the way. There we go. Okay, you went in there perfect before. There we go. Oh my God. Yeah, sure, like that. That ought to do the trick. Okay. Now, all right, you're in. That one. So you go here, boom. No, go. Come on. Yeah, that's the right sound.
Thanks for calling Holley Tech Support. What can I do for you, Mike?
I got a fuel system question. So I have a 1987 Trans Am that I just installed an LS1 and drivetrain out of a 2000 Trans Am into, and just installed the Terminator X Max. And the last two things I'm installing are the fans and the fuel pump. I bought a what is this thing? An EFI fuel tank module and single fuel pump harness and Holley Sniper fuel tank. It came with, there's a couple questions. So one is the instructions that it came with, the relay that they sent, the wiring is different colors, and it also gives you different options that you can hook it up to the stock wiring, but then you still have to run a relay, and like I said, the relay is different color wiring than what's in the diagram. And the other thing that I was going to ask is, since it's Terminator X, is there a way to hook it up to the Terminator X to where you can see the like the fuel level from the sender on one of the gauges that you make?
I mean, not to the ECU, but if you have like a digital gauge cluster, like one of the Holley Pro Dashes or.
Yeah, I was going to order one of those. Yeah.
Yeah, so if you have one of those, yeah, you can run your sending unit to that.
Okay.
But there's not really a point in sending it to the ECU. Cause,
Sure. It's not going to use any of the data from it.
Right.
Yeah, it was more of, installing the pump and just trying to figure out how I want to wire it. So we are going to that's the next thing we're going to do is get one of the gauges. I'm just figuring out what size, depending on the ABS plastic ones that they sell that I can have to cut out. So then the question just becomes, and this is probably the wrong department then. I was thinking I'm installing it to the Terminator X, but it's not a Terminator X, part. It's probably a Sniper part. But I wasn't sure how to wire it in, because the relay, like I said, the colors of the wiring is different.
You're just going to use the green wire, which is your fuel pump trigger.
Yeah.
Just use that as a trigger on your fuel pump relay.
Okay.
Pin 87 is going to be your power source, 12-volt power source, like from the battery.
Yeah.
Pin 30 is going to be power output to the pump. Pin 86 will be your trigger. That's where the green wire will go.
Okay.
And then pin 85 is your chassis ground.
Okay. Cool.
On your fuel pump relay.
Yeah.
Kind of will work with the same way with the radiator fan relay, but the radiator fan is the fan relay, or the fan output is a ground trigger.
Yeah, okay. That's where I'm mixing it up. Because I've installed fans on another 02 Trans Am on the Terminator, and I went to the output wires. I guess that sends the ground, so that's what I'm thinking of. But that I can figure out.
The fuel pump, yeah, the fuel pump trigger wire, the green one, technically that's not an output, that's just a trigger wire. That's directly off of the main harness relay.
Okay, that's why I'm getting that confused.
So you turn the key to the on position, you'll get 5 seconds to fuel pump prime, and then once you crank, it sees RPM signal, crank position, cam position, they sync, then the ECU triggers that main harness relay, and that powers up that green fuel pump trigger wire, your injector harness, and coil harness, so the power tap connector, the 12-volt side of the power tap connector.
Okay. Yeah, no, that makes sense. And then I guess the gauge doesn't really matter because there's only one wire that goes to that, so I can figure that out, I guess, whenever we get to...
Well...
Yeah.
So that's what I was going to say next, to save yourself a call in. If you're going to run whether it's like a Dakota digital gauge cluster or even a Holley Pro Dash or digital dash, make sure you ground the sending unit to the dash as well. If it's a Holley digital dash or Pro Dash, ground for the sending unit also needs to go to the dash. It will go to sensor ground. So your sending unit signal wire will go to whatever input, depending on the dash. If it's a 7-inch, it'll go to IO10. Pro Dash, it'll go to IO7. But make sure you run the ground all the way up and ground it to the dash connector as well. It'll be sensor ground. Otherwise, it won't work.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's not something that I would have thought of, so I'm glad that he mentioned that. So apparently, if you want to use one of the Holley displays, like the gauge displays, there's a sensor ground that comes from the gauge that you have to ground the fuel pump sender to in order to make that work. Just grounding it out on the chassis will not work. So definitely would have chased our tail doing that, because I wouldn't have thought of that. I didn't realize that was a thing. Okay, but so he gave me the details of what each pin is on the relay, so we can figure it out from here. This won't be too complicated. Okay, let's figure out where we're gonna mount this thing. I guess we'll just put it like here. Alright, so per the instructions from Holley, number 87 goes to the battery. '85 chassis ground. '85, so that's gonna go like that, yeah. All right, so that's the gray. All right, so gray goes to ground. Power is 30. Power to the pump. Okay, 87 is battery. 87 is all the way in back. That is the purple. Power to the pump, 30. That should be all the way in the front. It is this one, which is red. Power to the pump. Trigger is 86, which is this one, yellow to the green. Okay. There we go. All right, so the next thing we got to do is build the fuel system. So we have a Aeromotive fuel pressure regulator. We got this Evil Energy 100 micron fuel filter. All right, now I just got to figure out how I want to run everything. All right, so this will be coming in. So it's going to be sitting like this. So it's going to have to go this way. Oh, now I got to figure out, actually, no, this is the return line. That's right. what we is working on is mounting this fuel pressure regulator. So it's going to go right around here. We have the return line coming up from the bottom, the fill line going down, and then we're going to have the line that goes to that right here. That feels tight. No, don't do that. That's not the angle I want. Come on. Okay, do I have any wider ones? This can go in the trash. One of them's broke, the other one's probably broke. Okay. All right. Let's get you on here and get you mounted. Well, so we tried to start it up and we're not getting, we tried to do the TPS auto set and it's not working. It's not getting a 5-volt signal to the TPS or coming out of the computer. We back probed all the wires with Holley tech support and it's not working. So either there's a problem with the ECU or with the wiring harness. They gave us a bill of lading to send it out. So we're sending it to them to let us know that, you know, what to do. I guess they said that if there's a problem with the ECU, they'll send us another one. If not, then they'll send us another harness. So, but yeah, I was really hoping to start the car in this video, but you know, this stuff happens. I mean, you're putting, you know, touching 1,000 different things on the car. Like it's rare that you just build a whole car and then start it up and everything's perfect. You know, I mean, it happens sometimes, but anyway, yeah. So that's where we're at. And hopefully, you know, in the next video, we'll have some answers. So.